Welcome thrill seekers, welcome back to the channel. Today we're working on the Audi. It's passed the test for air conditioning if you watched the last video, so the condenser was okay, yay, and the air conditioning now works. When I brought the car home, I've noticed a couple of issues. I've got a knocking noise at the back, which may or may not be a spring. I need to jack the back of the car up and have a look what that is. And the other thing is, the driver's side window isn't playing ball anymore. Let me show you what I mean. I'll put the key in. I'll start the engine so we don't flatten the battery. So the passenger side works fine. Automatically goes down and automatically goes up again. This side automatically goes down. Right, it didn't do that before. Right, this is a short video, isn't it? So before, it would go down okay, but when I click up, it would get kind of to here and then want to go down again. And there's a strange noise coming from where I know the window motor is, which is in the middle here, but where the net pocket is, it's in that kind of area. Oh yeah, you can hear some grinding and stuff going on in the door. But only when it goes up. Okay, so I'm going to take the door card off anyway and have a look, see if I can. Maybe it just needs lubricating. Because I suspect, because it used to go up, it would get nearly to the top and then it would stop and then go down again, almost as if you had your hand in the way. So it's like, I don't know if you know how these work, when the motor current, when it starts taking lots of current, that means you're trapping something in the aperture, and you should reverse away to let the human get his hand out. And the noise makes me think that maybe there should be some grease in the motor or lubricate the cable or whatever's in there, the levers. So I'm going to take the door off and see what's happening in there. Now the way to do this apparently is we take the cap off this silver piece here where the door handle is. That levers off with a plastic trim tool, and inside there's a Torx nut. So we take that, well I suppose it's going to be a bolt, take that out, and then it's trim clips all the way around. There's a rubber at the front and at the back which you have to release, and then apparently it just lifts up and off. So let's see how true that is. Okay, so we've got the cap off. I have to say the instructions in the manuals and online I think are nonsense, because it's pretty obvious when you look at the cap that these are meant to be twisted like a bayonet. If you put the cap on, if I can do it one-handed, which I obviously can't. Right, there we go. So if you put it so it fits in and then twist it, then it goes back in. That's how you put it back in. So if you twist it, it just pulls straight off. So you could probably do this with like a sucker, or probably just with your hands, just twist it, because you can see here there's a little thing that catches it here. So if you turn it anti-clockwise, it'll probably just come straight off. And all they're doing is maximising the chances of you breaking something in the door, because if you break off one of these tabs, this is solid aluminium. That's not going to break, but I bet you one of these things are on the inside, and then you've got to pretty much reduce, you know, you're replacing the door card at that point. What a stupid set of advice that was. Anyway, there's the Torx in there. Probably looks like it's quite a biggie, probably a 40 or something like that. Right, I'll get the Torxes out and then we'll get that undone. So that's quite a biggie. It's a T30, and all that fits in your door. Right, so now we have to look at these rubber bits at either side, pull those off. There's one at the back here which you can't really see, and then apparently we unclip it all, which comes with my speech about trim tools. I have to admit, I tried to take that off with a trim tool and it won't come off, because we've already found that it's a bloody bayonet. So these just weren't strong enough to pull them off, so I had to do it with some flat bladed. I sort of got a space with that and then put flat bladed screwdrivers either side and twisted it, popped off. Well, we know we don't need to do that anymore, but we are probably going to need these to lever off round the edges to get it unclipped, and pray that we don't break any clips. So the rubber pieces have got like these little octopus's tentacle sucker things. So there's one at the top, and then further down there's two more on the hinge bit, and then on the door jamb side there's like a little reflector and a big piece of triangular rubber, and this is the same. You probably need a trim tool to get this to come away, but as you can see there's a selection of suckers, which that's going to be interesting to get back in, isn't it? I might have to like put some fairy liquid on these or something to help it go back in. But now we should be able to just lever around the door card and lift it away. Right, the door card's loose now, I can move it about. On this side you have to get the rubber. I mean, look, there's a massive oval piece with a tab on the end which is solid, which you have to unhook from the door card. So again, that's going to be a joy to get back in. Now in theory this just lifts up and away. We're going to have to release the cable for the door release, and obviously some electrical connectors, but I'll show you that when I get the door card away from the door. Right, the door card is off. Excuse me, well, that's better. Right, door card's off. At the top here, if you can see, there's a little hole in that aluminium piece there. That's the door handle. So there's a hook on a cable that clips in there. Mine fell off when I undid the door, so it looks like it rests in this little channel here, so maybe I pulled the cable out and that's what released it. Also, what you've got under this little leatherette cover here are some connectors. There's a mustardy coloured one, a blue one, and then two black ones, but the black ones are different sizes, so you shouldn't be able to get any of this wrong when you put it back. These need a bit of prizing to get off. And all across the door you can see plastic hooks effectively all the way around, so you kind of hang the door on the hooks as well as on the top where the rubber channel is. So putting it back on shouldn't be too difficult once we've got the door handle and the cables back in. Right, let's go have a look at the other side. So this is the inside of the door. Here's the cable that opens the door with the little hooky thing on the end, and these are the cables that go on all the connectors for the speaker. This is the window winder motor, and then we've got this cable which is covered in schmutz, and the cable mechanism winds the window up and down. I've got to say, none of this looks rusty. I mean, this is made out of aluminium. So I don't know whether this should have some grease in it. Sorry about the noise. It's got some Torxes on there to hold it on for replacement, so I don't know whether it's worth just taking those off and having a look inside. Right, I'm going to read the manual and see what they say about this. Right, I'll take the screws out for the motor, and if you slightly pull it away and look down in there, you can see the cable that operates the window mechanism is rolled around a little drum attached to the motor 3 or 4 times, because the cable goes up there, down there, and you can feel on the back here where the cable is, like a guitar string. Then it goes down and round that one, up and over there, and then down that side, because they want them both to go down at the same time, so it has to go down and round that little wheel at the bottom there, and then back into the reel. So there is a cover to get in there, but you'd have to take this off. I don't really want to do that, not with that wire being the way it is, because you could, it looks like, get inside this and put some grease or something in it. I don't think that's going to be possible. Well, not without giving me lots of grief anyway. Yeah, I don't really like the idea of taking that cable off of there. I'm going to screw that back up again. These are 20 Torx, by the way, if you're attempting this, because if you need to change this assembly, obviously you're going to have to know about that. The ones I've seen, you replace the whole lot, the cable and all of this all come as one piece, but I suspect that'll be hundreds of pounds, and this is actually working at the moment, so I'm tempted just to box this up and forget about it. If you do it, remember you can take all this lot out of the door as one piece, but when you take the glass off, there are essentially two massive penny washers that screw into this aluminium piece here. There's two there and two on the other one. Make sure you draw around them onto the glass, because that's part of the alignment of the window, and you really don't want to be trying to guess that afterwards. There's also at each side at the top here, see if I can get a better picture for you, there is a bolt on the end, yeah, and in the end of that bolt is a hex key, and it's so you can adjust the left and right adjustment of the whole window. So you would undo the nut and then use the hex key to move this spacer. Can you see it? So that moves the spacer, and then the nut then keeps it tight against the metalwork. I don't really intend to mess with that today. Okay. And also, if you're going to take the whole lot out, I don't know if you can see there's a 13mm, there's two actually on a plate, and to facilitate you getting to that, there's a black plastic thingy underneath. There's two of these, one each side. So then there's another plate on this side. I don't know if you can see that, maybe in there. So you have to undo them as well. If you can take the whole thing off, it just lifts up out of the door, and then you can start changing this. There are some rivets apparently that you have to drill out, but I don't think I can see them. I think that's the back of one there, look. So near where the bottom of the window is, there's a rivet there. Yeah, I can't see the others from this side, they're on the other side of the door, so you'll have to drill them out. So you'll have to have a pop riveting machine and some pop rivets before you change this. So there's another joy. I'm going to button this up and put the door card back on and just call the video how to get your door card off, because yeah, it's not broken enough for me to worry about it. But at least now, if it does fail completely, I know how to get in and change it. So I'm sorry that this probably wasn't what you was expecting. Believe me, it wasn't for me either. But every day's a learning day, and we've learned how to do this, so it's not a complete fail. Right, I think we'll call that a day. So thanks for watching. I hope you got something out of this at least, and we'll see you in the next one.